Good morning and welcome to my corner of the universe. Today is the No Kings protest in the United States, and I will be celebrating in my own way here in the UK. Not Prince Charles or King Charles now, but the American protest. If somebody does something, and there have been very few occasions where I actually hate someone. In fact, the last time I actually found that I hated somebody, it was a surprise because I couldn't recognize the feeling that I was having. And then it dawned on me is that I simply hated them. And because somebody treated me like garbage, shall we say, I find forgiveness difficult. I find forgetting even harder. There haven't been that many times, and there aren't that many people. There are people in the universe that I am not fond of, but there are very few, actually, only a couple that I've found that I hate. It doesn't mean that I don't forgive the person, but it means that I don't forget. Because forgetting is one of those things that allows you to make the same mistake again. When you trust someone, when you believe what they say, and they prove you at every turn that they were only saying what they were saying because they wanted something. Now, some people are going to think that I hate Donald Trump. And granted, I dislike him enormously and his policies even more. I hate the fact that women's autonomy, in terms of physical autonomy, is now being, well, basically we're talking about Handmaid's Tale on steroids, with no accountability for anyone except women. There is no accountability for men. I was wondering that if Ohio passed a law saying that you had to report if you were pregnant and get a death certificate for a miscarriage, why is the man responsible for that pregnancy not liable for financial support to that fetus from the moment of inception? Why? Because you would have thought that if it's, because it can't, the woman doesn't just get pregnant on her own. I mean, it kind of takes two to do that. Or at least that's what I thought happened in science class. Why are men not being held responsible for their actions? When Donald Trump says, well, we're not going to get into any wars, we're going to fix the economy, we're going to make prices better, and America first. America first for what? Because although America has the potential to be a great nation, it certainly has given up that position in the world. It's given up the right to say, we actually care about people. Christians, many in America, have forgotten what Jesus actually taught. And as we come into Easter and we talk about forgiveness and the pain that Jesus and what God gave mankind, are we just talking about remembering, or are we actually talking about living it? Because I think many of us live it without believing all of it. Many of us try and act like decent human beings, and as all the MAGA people go to church this next week, maybe they could just sit and think about why Jesus actually came. And maybe it might cross their minds that Jesus was not a white man. Jesus was not an entitled white man. And, well, thinking back, white men are awfully responsible for the number of wars we've had in this world. And a lot of the pain and suffering inflicting on others because white men thought they were entitled to it because they were white men. Not that they were smarter, not that they were, no, just entitled. So as we go into Easter week, maybe you want to just remind people that forgiveness and forgetting are different things. I hope all goes well today with the protests in the United States. Those against kings in terms of the American culture. I hope they will continue to act in the peaceful protest manner that they've done. And let's put the ownership of why we are in this position specifically on MAGA and the Republican Party, who have ceased to do their job because they decided that entitlement is much more important. I'm going to go off and do some embroidery. I've got some lovely hot smoked salmon and some beautiful bread to have for lunch. Sunny day here in the village. Hug someone you love and have a good one out there. Be safe.